Hey girl, hey! So it is time for one of my favorite videos to do actually, and I'm doing a video, a back to school video, all about supplies and organization and my tips and study tips and everything like that. So all the fun part of going back to school, not the clothes, the school. I know that's probably the last thing you want to think about is getting back into the school groove of studying and making sure you keep your grades up, but it is really important. And I am here to help you out. So I graduated high school this past June, and I've been through it all when it comes to high school, junior, senior, every year, obviously because I graduated. So the first thing you're going to want is a planner. Now this will save your life if you have problems keeping due dates in check or getting organized. But like, I know most people get a planner at the beginning of the year and use it for a few weeks and then forget about it, but it's really important that you keep up with it because that's what's going to help you stay organized and be on top of your grades. So this is a Lilly Pulitzer agenda. This is the pocket size one. They have a bigger one too, but I think this is perfect, and they're adorable also, which helps motivate you if you have trouble finding motivation. But I think these are so helpful. It doesn't have to be a Lilly Pulitzer. It could be like, oops, it could be anything, like one that your school provides. A lot of schools can do that for freshmen especially, but you could probably buy it at your school too. But this is what mine looks like. It has stickers. Oh, isn't that cute? And then it just has different places like month overviews, and it has holidays, and it has note sections, and then you go into the month. So let's say September, this is 2011, September 19th, 2011, I had to do my chemistry reading and I had to do problems on the page. So I wrote that down here if that's when it was due. Then you can look forward to what you have to do for the next week and make sure you're keeping on top of everything that you need to do for each day and it's getting done on time. So once you get your assignment, write it down on the date that it's due. If you want, you can write it in different colors if that helps you, or something, but just make sure you keep consistently writing down your homework so that if you're not even sure, you know, I wrote my test here too, if you're not even sure when it is, that you can look forward and know that you have the right date. Yeah, your planner will be one of your most useful best friends as far as staying organized goes in high school, in middle school too if you want. But this video is obviously focused on high school. So yeah, get a planner. Another thing that I did is I used the reminders app on my phone once I got a little bit lazy, and that was also really helpful because I obviously always had my phone. Hello, teenage girl. But then I would just like put the list of what I needed to do, and then in the notes section of it I would add any details about it and the due date of it. My phone needs to stop going off. Sorry I'm so popular. Just kidding. And I could check it off when it was done and it would just disappear from the list. So if that works better for you, if you're more technology minded, then that works too. In my school bag, I would just keep all my pencils and pens and everything in one spot. I use this a couple years. It's a little bit dirty. I think this is just from Staples. It's one of the neoprene cases. It just zips. It's really easy. And then I would have mechanical pencils, a highlighter. The gel highlighters are awesome, by the way. They're so much fun. A regular pencil. This is a Mean Girls pencil. It says that was so fetch. Obviously my school supplies are so stylish. And then I just had a couple pens, different multicolored pens. Red pen is awesome for correcting and things you need to write in colors. And I had an eraser, black pearl. Just keep everything in one pencil pouch, then it helps you keep them all in one place so you don't lose them and you don't have to dig around in your bag for a pencil. It's just like in a pencil case. In one place that can make or break your school organization is your locker, and this was the most helpful thing ever to me. Having a locker shelf. This is so plain. I got it at Staples. I think Staples is my one-stop true love school supply shop.
That was easy.
But really. Anyway, so all I would do as far as organizing my locker was stick this in it, put my notebooks on top of it, and put my textbooks under it, and it just made everything so much easier. I can't even tell you, so definitely use a locker shelf if you have a problem keeping your locker organized, or if you don't. You know, this is just cool to have. They make different colors and stuff too, so then you can stay fashionable and organized. Okay, and then in my bag, I had a backpack the last year, but the first few years I had a tote bag, so whichever one you choose, this will work. Just one loose peachy folder is perfect because you never know when you're gonna have a handout that you don't have a place for. Like if it's not for a specific class, if it's just from the office or something, just slip it in here and then you have access to it both at home and at school. And maybe if you forgot your binder one day but you need to put a paperback, or you printed an essay that needs to go for it, just put it in here and then you'll always have it with you. So I still have all my papers from senior year in here. I never went through here. Yeah, so I didn't organize it that much, but if I just had a loose paper, I would stick it in here and it was easy to find. The way I did my supplies for each class is I would have a 1-inch binder for each of my classes. Some teachers might tell you otherwise, but if they don't specify, I would definitely recommend having just a 1-inch binder specifically for each class, because then you don't mix them up and forget one, and I don't know. I mean, some people combine classes in theirs, which I guess could work, but I would just much rather have them separated, but that was just my preference. So this is one of the binders I had. It's from Staples, wouldn't you know?
That was easy.
Yep, still was. And this one's kind of a mess. This was my calculus binder, so it's still intact. All my other binders, I took all the stuff out of already, but I had this one later, and I just never got around to it. But yeah, by the end of the year, they're not looking so hot, so I have doodles that my friend Shelby drew me because we didn't really listen the last week of calculus. This is a really bad example, but I just have loose paper here and the syllabus at the front, and then all my notes were right behind it. I love these things. They're just like the translucent colored dividers, and you can put, I would always totally go all out and put a label in here too, but I didn't use them for this class because it was a little bit different than my normal classes because it was a college class, so the professor was kind of more vague, I guess you could say. If you've taken a college class, you know what I mean. But yeah, so I would have my notes, and if I wanted, I could put this behind it. So I would separate my notes and my handouts and my tests and everything. So this is super helpful, especially if you are one of those people that wants to combine classes into one notebook or binder. Use dividers. They'll be so much easier to keep track of what's going on in your binders, and you won't go crazy from the disheveledness. Put all the tests in the back pocket of my notebook. So that is the best way to organize your life when it comes to classes, is keeping a separate binder for each one. And if you want, you could get a peachy folder to put inside and just like use the 3-hole punch to put it inside your binder to keep your handouts and then do what you want. But yes, I love these things. And I love these things too. Okay, so those are my basic organization tips when it comes to school and high school. But as far as studying goes, I definitely loved flashcards. It depends on the class, but the only class I used them for was US history, which was really hard. If you have a class where you're constantly getting information thrown at you and dates and people and different just bits of information that tie into other things, flashcards are so important. So I still have mine from US history, and he would give us generally, not always, just a study guide. So the main outline points I would put on a flashcard, and I just took note cards, 3x5 note cards, and I would tear them in half, and then on one side I would write the general thing about it, and then on the other side I would write the date, the people involved, and what it did. Just don't overwhelm yourself with information. Note cards can be kind of concise, so that's what you want, and that's just what I wrote on mine, and just whatever would help you remember. And then I would just write them all up, and writing them seriously is the part that helps you learn the most. And then once you have it all written, you'll have it more ingrained in your brain, and then you can help, you can flash them to yourself, you can do it with friends. It's so nice. So if you have an information class like US history, this is awesome. Then what I did is I would keep them all in a bag in my drawers here at home. And then for the final, when he gave us a study guide for the final, so I could go back and use the cards that I had that he said were going to be on the test and bring them all together, and then I had all my studying for the final test was already done. Like all I needed to do was flash them back to myself, and it was so awesome. Otherwise, my study tips are don't procrastinate. That's definitely a big one, but one that a lot of people seem to miss. I wasn't really that big of a procrastinator, thankfully, but I have my moments, I have my days. So just make sure as soon as you get something, start working on it. Don't put it off. Because, I mean, some people work better under pressure, but I wasn't one of those people, so I like to have time. So I would get it the night, if you have like a big project that you have a lot of time to work on it, start it. At least give it a start the night you get it, and then continually set aside time to work on it each day so you don't have it all on the last day. As far as essays went, I learned this tip from Beauty XX Goddess a while back, and it's seriously saved my life so many times. When you're writing an essay, listen to classical music. I don't know what it is. It might just be all in my head, but I swear I can focus so much more when I'm listening to classical music. What I do is I just go on the iTunes radio and find a classical station and then just listen to it and close all my internet tabs, because that will distract me, and just completely zone in on the essay and bust it out while, I mean, obviously I'm gonna try and put my best work into it, but just if you isolate yourself and listen to classical music, you will do so much better on your essay. I don't know what it is, but it worked. Also, if you're doing work that requires a lot of attention, which most work should, Definitely find an isolated place that you don't do other things. Like sometimes I would try and do homework sitting on my bed on my laptop and I would just completely get distracted and I would fall asleep because that's where I do everything. So you need to find a place where you don't do other things so that your brain will focus on what you're doing. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but like I would sit at my desk for hard work and essays because then my brain was like, okay, time to focus. Like desk, you're wired for that. But whereas if you sit on your bed, you're wired for browsing the internet, falling asleep, you know? So just make sure that you aren't doing everything in one place. Try and find designated places to do different things and different studying things. You could totally just sit on your bed if you're just flashing flashcards to yourself, but if you're trying to zone in on an essay or something, definitely sit in an isolated place like a desk, and then you will focus so much more. Do whatever you need to do to get yourself motivated. Like if you use super cute school supplies and that helps you be motivated, that's awesome. Go for it. But just make sure that you're constantly keeping up with your work, stay organized, and you will stay on top of it, and then school will be much easier for you, and then in the long run you'll be proud to look back and see it reflect in your grades, the work you put into it, because come senior year when you're doing college applications, you want to put your best foot forward. So make sure you're getting the best grades you can, try not to slack off, and it'll all pay off in the end. Those are my organization and study tips for high school. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you got something out of it, and good luck in school this year. Bye!